What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Delta Entertainment. I am your host, Lincoln Kenobi, and today we got a special that just happened. We're just following up on what's going on with Ubisoft, and right now this just came out. This just came out exclusive. Ubisoft seemingly prepping for bankruptcy ahead of Assassin's Creed Shadows release as past failures spell almost certain doom. So yes, Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft has been falling down the toilet right now and its stock and everything. And right now, they are prepared to go into bankruptcy as of this early of 2020-25. Now, they were supposed to release Assassin's Creed Shadows last year in November. Then it got pushed to February, and now it got pushed to March. But on that day of March 20th, there was a controversy going on because of the anniversary of what's happened in the historical event that happened in Japan, and it has put a backlash on Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed game. And right now, I got a feeling right now this is not going to be good for Ubisoft, and the game is not going to sell very well. It's not going to give them enough money to save their company, man. So it looks like they are preparing to face the consequences, bro. So let's get a read at this article and see what we got. The end might be near for Ubisoft. The year has barely started, and it seems as though the former giant of the gaming industry is showing more signs of decline as it seemingly prepares for bankruptcy ahead of the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows. In our previous article, we highlighted Ubisoft's abysmal credit rating, rooted in troubling financial metrics such as a 1.4 euro billion net debt, plummeting market cap down over 85% in the past 4 years, and an unsustainable workforce of 18,666 employees, costing an estimated 746.6 million annually. These indicators painted a bleak picture of a company tethering on the edge of financial ruin. Now on January 9th, which is yesterday, now Ubisoft announced that it has appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value of stakeholders. What does this mean? On paper, suggests Ubisoft has hired consultants to address the company's strategic missteps from the recent years. However, in practice, this move aligns more closely with preparations to sell off valuable assets such as intellectual properties like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, streaming rights, or other goods, and possibly edge closer to bankruptcy. This announcement comes on the heels of yet another delay for Assassin's Creed Shadows, now pushed from February to March, coupled with declining sales from Star Wars Outlaws and the cancellation of X Defiant. It seems Ubisoft's financial woes are far worse than initially anticipated. Could this be the end of Ubisoft? Not even 1 month into 2025. First, let's examine why this move might signal Ubisoft conceding it to bankruptcy or even preparing to be sold off entirely. The historical precedent. Back in 2012, when THQ filed for bankruptcy, the company made a similar move before its eventual collapse. Just like Ubisoft, THQ knew exactly what it was doing and for whom it was doing it. The initial step of appointing leading advisors to explore transformational strategic options is standard procedure for any company at the verge of a merge or asset sale. However, in Ubisoft's case, this announcement was just as it was that for THQ, serves as a signal to investors that the company to following all legal and regulatory steps before implementing drastic changes that may benefit some stakeholders but are more likely to leave others at a loss. Bankruptcy might indeed be imminent, as Ubisoft announcement aligns with patterns seen in other companies before they spiraled into bankruptcy and were taken over by courts. For example, THQ, Atari, and Midway Games all made similar moves before their eventual downfall. These steps often aim to maintain a semblance of control and to prepare stakeholders for the inevitable. So, what is Ubisoft aiming for? Looking at its announcement and the strategy to cut 200 million in cost, it seems this may be nothing more than a red herring distracting from what are likely the company's final days. Much like THQ, Ubisoft's planned asset sales and cost reductions might serve to prolong operations just long enough to make it appear more attractive to a potential buyer. However, the reality is that such a relatively small cut in the face of its ever increasing debt will do to change the course. Bankruptcy courts may already be preparing to step in and oversee Ubisoft's descent into insolvency. Yeah, man, things are not looking good for Ubisoft right now, dude. And this is gonna happen even worse. Wow, man. I can't believe it. All right, so let's keep reading. It's far more probable that these leading advisors have been brought on to determine, as Ubisoft's own announcement states, the best way to manage the situation and might involve minimizing losses for major stakeholders while ensuring that executives walk away with generous severance packages. THQ's bankruptcy followed a similar pattern, where top executives exited with substantial payouts despite the company's collapse. The 200 million in cost reductions may in reality be a war chest to fund severance payouts during the impending bankruptcy. With over 18,000 employees still on Ubisoft's books, unless massive layoffs are announced, immediately many could be entitled to severance before the company folds. Unfortunately, it's far more likely that the majority of employees will be left with little while executives walk away with their golden parachutes. Low pre orders and rising debt, the warning signs behind Shadow's delay. Another sign that this may indeed be the case in the further delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows from February to March. Why is this relevant? It reveals a lack of confidence in the product. More worryingly, the announcement of this delay came just one day before the advisors appointed was made public. This suggests that pre-orders for Shadows were so low that Ubisoft already knew the game wouldn't be able to save it from mounting financial debt. In retrospect, based on poor sales of Star Wars Outlaws and the recent cancellation of X Defiant, it's estimated that Ubisoft would have needed Assassin's Creed Shadows to generate at least 1 billion in sales. This level of revenue achievable by only a handful of games in such a short time frame would have been necessarily to keep them afloat long enough to secure additional credit for and temporarily manage their liabilities. However, Ubisoft's actions indicate that the numbers aren't showing this potential. If there were no concerns about the pre orders numbers of Assassin's Creed Shadows, this delay might not have occurred. Delaying a major release date dents investors' confidence and impacts stock prices. Two things Ubisoft cannot afford to jeopardize right now. Yet the delay was announced, further confirming that cracks are growing within the company and that it is preparing for an inevitable collapse. In our last article, we estimated Ubisoft's credit rating for it to be the CCC abysmal rating, indicating that a bankruptcy is imminent unless drastic changes occur. These drastic changes could include layoffs, asset sales, game cancellations, and severe operational restructuring. However, Ubisoft seems to have taken its first step toward accepting bankruptcy instead of implementing these changes, which might have given the company a fighting chance. Why is that? The answer likely lies in their crippling debt, with no feasible way to offset liabilities through the release of new products. Ubisoft has effectively trapped itself in a cycle of underperformance. They are unable to generate enough revenue to move from the red into the black. As a result, it seems their best course of action now is to prepare for the inevitable by stabilizing operations just long enough to ease the transition into bankruptcy proceedings. Buyout, bankruptcy, or bust. Ubisoft's slim chances for recovery. But let's explore whether Ubisoft could still save itself. We assume Ubisoft is not actually preparing for bankruptcy. We are its options. A buyout or asset sale would likely be the next step, but even selling some of the assets wouldn't cover the cost of the debt. As of now, Ubisoft's entire valuation is estimated at around 1.6 billion. This means Ubisoft cannot expect to sell its entire Assassin's Creed franchise for anything near 1.6 billion, as a potential buyer might instead purchase this entire company outright for the same price. Imagine this: the franchise that once earned billions is now valued at less than its peak earnings during the release of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, all due to Ubisoft's financial chaos. Because of this massive debt, Ubisoft would likely have to sell its most valuable franchises, such as Assassin's Creed, for a fraction of their worth. Selling assets is therefore not a valuable option, as in other assets up for sale would be viewed by potential buyers as far less valuable than the price required to keep Ubisoft afloat. In short, any attempt to asset resales would leave Ubisoft unable to fund the production of a game, capable of pulling it out of the red. Its low stock price and poor valuation have effectively trapped the entire company. To illustrate, if a chicken lays valuable eggs and the farmer wants to sell the eggs for $30, but the chicken itself is valued at only $10 because of the farmer's debt, a smart buyer would simply purchase the chicken. This is the dilemma Ubisoft faces. The Chinese company Tencent, and Ubisoft investor that may be poised to buy out the entire operation, undoubtedly understands this. Rumors of a Tencent buyout persists, but as we mentioned in our previous article, Tencent would benefit more from letting Ubisoft enter bankruptcy proceedings and acquiring its intellectual properties at auction without inheriting its debt. So, what other options does Ubisoft have? Layoffs and restructuring could be considered, but it's likely too late for what? For that. With over 18,000 employees, a significant restructuring and layoff strategy would take at least 1 or 2 years to yield financial benefits. However, Ubisoft's mounting debt and poor investment credit rating may make it unlikely that they can secure the financial stability needed to implement such long term strategies. In fact, layoffs and restructuring could harm investors' confidence further, especially as Ubisoft currently has only one upcoming product, Assassin's Creed Shadows, that might appeal to gamers, and even that title seems to lack the anticipated enthusiasm. How about a buyout? Could Tencent or another company purchase Ubisoft outright at a valuation? Sorry about that. At a valuation of 1.6 billion, Tencent could afford to buy the company. However, Tencent would also inherit 18,000 employees and Ubisoft's debt, not to mention other obligations such as financial incentives tied to skull and bones with the Singaporean government or other undisclosed liabilities. While Tencent could simply lay off employees post acquisition, taking on such liabilities may outweigh the potential benefits. Tencent might prefer to wait for Ubisoft to enter bankruptcy proceedings, allowing them to bid for a key franchise during an auction without incurring these additional costs. Of course, in such a scenario, Tencent may have to compete with other companies for these assets, but the risk and cost will be far lower than the Ubisoft buying Ubisoft outright. As it stands, we estimate there is a 60% chance that Ubisoft is proceeding with a bankruptcy strategy, a 30% chance of acquisition or merger, and only a 10% chance of restructuring recovery without bankruptcy. Ubisoft seems to be sailing its last voyage this year, hitting an iceberg in January, sinking slowly through March, and potentially drowning entirely by June or July when bankruptcy proceedings could each reach their conclusion. So yeah, man, I mean they're in deep trouble right now and they're ready, bro. They are preparing for the worst that's gonna happen to them, bro. And like I said, dude, I mean, they got themselves into this situation, bro. If all they had to do was not get involved with Sweet Baby Inc. All they had to do was stay away from politics and identity politics, bro. And I guarantee you the game would have been successful, bro. But hey, they got themselves in this situation, bro. And I feel sorry for those employees that are working there. So we'll see what happens. I will keep you guys posted on this. I will. So thank you for watching this video and thank you for being in the channel. If you like this video, hit the like button, share this video, post a comment below, let me know your thoughts. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button for me. All right, guys, thank you all so much. And I will be seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.